Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. Okay, so what have we got in the box today? Well, we know what we got in the box. We've got a digital cluster, so this will be a quick unboxing. Okay, so it comes very well protected. You've got this foam packaging in here, and that really does protect the cluster in transit. Okay, so here's the screen itself. It's basically a flat panel LCD screen, and then you've got the cowling in front of it, which is relatively straightforward to fasten together. For some reason this one seems to have two protective films on it. I'm not quite sure why. There you go. And this one should have come with this cable for the USB updates and the little T10 Torx tool, but this being a pre-production model, it didn't have one. Okay, installation then. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'll put the key in and quickly start her up. I'm just going to take a picture of the readings. Okay, so this is, but we're going to need these readings later on. So that's basically your speedo reading, and then on your iDrive, if you've got it, go down to your vehicle status, all the way down to the bottom, and then take note of your readings. Any that don't appear on the screen properly on the bottom right hand corner there, and just go into them individually. Take note of all your readings, and we'll need those later on. Okay. Turn her off, take the key out, and then we're going to release the key out altogether just in case. Release the steering column, pull it all the way down, pull it all the way forward, and lock it in position so I can get maximum access to the screws. Now, the screws we want are these two up here. Okay, so what we're going to do, so we've got a screw there and a screw there. Okay, these are T10s, and you do get a little driver in the kit. Unfortunately, I don't have that with this one, so I've got my own little driver. If I can get it in the hole there properly, here we go. I'm going to take these two screws out carefully, because you want these. Occasionally a black screw in a black cowling in a dark area is not the best thing, but it can be done. Okay, that's that bit done. I'm going to drop it down, pull it forward. And this is why you move the steering wheel. There we go. And then you're going to lean back, put your hand right back in there, and find the clip. Press the clip in and pull it down, and then release your cable, and that is your old set of clocks out. Put them to one side. Right, so now we're going to need a cutting tool here. I used a multi-tool. We're going to take out that block there and that block just there. They're relatively simple to get out, as long as you can get the tool actually in there. Okay, so when you remove them, this is what they'll look like. It's just basically, like I say, a bit of a block, and that's it. You'll have two pieces there, and we'll just quickly show you what you'll end up with inside the housing. There you go. One of them two little thin pieces missing to be removed as well. They need to go just like they are on that side. I took them off after this bit. Okay, so now we're into actually fitting the screen in. Place it in position and plug in your USB cable into the back of the screen. Then feed the USB socket down that hole there, which leads you through to the side. Okay, so this is where it'll come out. Just pull down your rubber, pop off your plastic end shield, and then it'll come out just up there somewhere, and then you can just have it dangling down there, and that's easy access if you need to upgrade. Okay, plug in your multi-pin connector, clip it into place, and we're now ready to actually put the screen into its seated position. Just gently feed it in. May have to go in at a slight angle just to get it in there. Hold it at that point. Obviously we don't need the cowl on at this point because it just gets in the way, so that's the next bit. So get your cowling, put it in place, and then you want to be plugging in your reset button cable. This is accessed from a little hole underneath on the inside of the cowling. Okay, so you want to feed the bottom lugs of the cowling into the bottom lugs on the LCD screen, and then pivot it up so that your top metal bars feed into their little slots on the cowling, and then push it up into its seated position inside the cover. Get your two T10 screws and screw them back in. And just reposition your steering wheel, and we're done. Now for some settings. Okay, so setup. So what we need now is we need this button here, your BC stalk. If you press it, you'll see the top row of indications. There we go. So we've got real-time info, and you can either press this one to keep going through, or once it's activated, once you've actually initially pressed that button once, you can then use the scroll key to go in either direction. Okay, so let's just go through them. So we've got trip, and this is the point. To do anything, you need to press and hold, and there you go, you got it. So you can go up and down, press and hold, it goes into it. So that's my trip currently. So I'm currently on 810.7 miles since I set this screen up. So to reset it, as it says at the top of the screen, it says hold OK stroke DISP to reset. So that'll be that one. I'm not quite sure what it says, OK or DISP, because it's the BC button. And if I press and hold that, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go down to trip B because I don't want to reset trip A currently. So we press and hold, and it resets it. Okay. Scroll down to, I mean, like I say, you can do that on it, or you can go, see what I mean? Okay, so it moves it down. So press and hold, and returns. Press one more from startup. Let's have a look what's on that one. Press and hold. Okay, so you've got distance, time from start, fuel, and speed. Okay, just press once, it goes off. Press and hold again. Press and hold, anything? No. So that's a set. So that's a set view. Then that's what you're going to get on that one. Down there from reset. So that was my last. So that was my average was 41.6 miles per hour. Average fuel was 31.4 miles per gallon. Distance of 810.9 miles, and elapsed time of 19 minutes 28 seconds. Not quite sure what that is because that was over 2 days. So again, as it says at the bottom there, hold BC to reset. So if I want to reset all that lot, I could press that now. I'm not going to because I don't want to.
Okay, so wrong refuel. So this is for the last time it was fueled. Press and hold. So total distance 174.6 miles. So average was 29.4 miles per gallon and average speed 43.5 miles per hour. Again, press and hold. Intelligent idling. Not sure what this one is actually. Let's have a look. So elapsed time, no, nothing's set in there, but I believe that's because I've not actually got that on set. I believe that is on the settings is set as off. Right, eco. Let's have a look at eco. Looks like I'm very eco-friendly according to that one. And then you've got your return, press and hold, and that's that. So that's your trip. To go across, real-time info, press and hold. Now this is the screen that I have up normally. So it's constant miles per gallon. So that's the one that changes all the time. So as you're speeding up, it will obviously go down. As you're cruising more, it will be a higher reading. Coolant temperature, obviously I've not used the car yet this morning, so it's only 6 degrees. Oil temp is not -40. It's just not registered it yet because I've not actually turned the car on. So distance 175 miles since I last fueled up, and the battery voltage is currently 12.1. That's because the car is switched off. Press, and it goes back to that screen, and then press one more time for info. Press and hold again, and now you got your trip A. Press and hold. Trip B. So you see just below the rev counter there, it changed. You got your odometer setting at 107,106 miles, and then below that you got trip B and trip A if you press and hold again. So I'm leaving it on trip A currently. Press one more time. Adaptive cruise control. Whereas we don't have adaptive cruise control, that's not a lot of use to us. Steering angle, I've not worked out what this one actually is yet. I mean, it does that, but once you actually turn the steering wheel, it doesn't do anything, unless, of course, it does while you're driving. I haven't actually tried that one yet, so I might do that in a little while. Press it again. Service info, press and hold. So there's all you... Now, this is where you can reset. So let's have a look at this one. These are all basically work on the same principle. So we go with oil and filter. If I press and hold oil and filter, the reset button highlights. So that's distance and next service. So if you do your own oil changes or any of your own servicing, you can go onto this one and then you can reset that, press and hold, and that will reset it. But you can actually set in the miles itself. So there we go. So 6,210 miles. Again, you can change that one. Let's just have a quick look. Press and hold. And then you go into your, whatever it is, you can just scroll through the screen all the way through to whatever you want on it. So I'm going to put it back to 6,000. That's slightly different than to what I actually had it. Press, hold, and it goes to set. Which is weird because it's now jumped to 3,726 miles. Which is not what I had. Interesting. Press one more time and you got your date on there. So you press and hold and you can change the date. Just keep pressing. And it goes so far, only goes so far through anyway. So 2023, which is what it's going to be. It's 25th of the 4th. That's today's date, and that's not when my service is actually due. So my service is actually, so press and hold and it changes to the other one. My service is actually due on the 3rd of June. There we go. Press and hold. I'm actually going to avoid, and I'm going to have to, aren't I? Because it's not going to let me. Oh, there we go. So you just, so it just goes through the various settings. 6,200. So that's what we had on the, so that's your inspection. That's your brake fluid. Again, these all work the same way. So when you've actually done something, fuel filter, I don't know whether that's ever been changed on this car, whether you even can change it on this car. I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. Spark plugs. Again, not sure when I do know when they were last changed. I just haven't set this one in. This can be set, so everything, all these can be set manually. So I do actually know when my spark plugs were actually replaced. I would have to go and check the paperwork to get that actually out there. So that could be changed. So I could do that one. So you got all these all the way through there. So individual 2, not sure what that one actually does. Seems to have a reset service on there. And then we go back to return, and this sets back to the previous menu. Forward 1, vehicle setup, press and hold. So this is, so you got your home light. So this is the amount of seconds that lights will stay on when you've locked the car, so you can see me home setting. I've actually got it set to 0, although we do actually still stay on for a moment, for a few seconds anyway. This is like when you're doing that. So mine are actually set to 5 because I've had them already preset to 5 in the first place. So I'm not altering that, but you can have that changed to the various, either the 1 or the 3. The 1 and 3 seem to be the standard for BMW, whereas mine are actually set to 5. That was a bit of coding I did a while ago. Daylight. Quite sure what daylight actually does because my daytime running lights are on all the time anyway. Unlock all doors. So when I unlock all doors open, you can have that changed to. Well, that's not even in English, so I'm not sure what that is actually supposed to say. I will check that up. Oh, back up to 1. All doors. Yeah, that's not in English. I'm not quite sure what that is actually supposed to say. So by the time you get this video, I will put something on the screen to say what that actually says. Okay, so automatic seat. That should be that it sets the seats when you unlock the driver's door or unlock all doors. We'll see on that. Automatic relock. Don't like automatic relock. So I've left that off. You can obviously have that switched on if you just press, and if you see what I'm doing with my thumb, you just press and hold and it changes. Single press and it goes to the next, changes to the next one. Train interlocking, not really sure what that actually is. I'll have to check with the manufacturer on that one. Lock flashing, so actually indicators flashing when you lock the car. Unlock flashing, exactly the same thing. Flashes the indicators when you unlock the car. Tire pressure reset. Right, I'm on FTM, which is flat tire monitoring. So this really is more set up. This is set up for TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, which I don't have on this car. So let's see what the options are here. No options whatsoever. Oh, I think that's set up actually in one of the main menus, so that's probably why it's not working on there. Light adjustment, I believe this. Not actually sure what this one actually does. So we'll come back to that one. We'll check what that one actually does. Hopefully I'll put a little disclaimer on the bottom of the screen as to what it actually does, and I'll chat later on. Okay, so we're back to return, press and hold, and we're back off vehicle setup. So, and then that's the end. That's the end of that information one. Okay, so we're now into the system settings menu. Again, press and hold. So the first one we've got is, I think that is the first one, isn't it? Yep, that's correct. That is the first one. So with theme, so this is where you can now change your display screen. So we've got sport, which is what's set up currently. Press and hold. That's your comfort setting. I haven't actually really driven with that one on actually yet, because I've been driving with the sport one on, which I actually quite like. Press and hold. So actually progressive. Sport Plus. There's that one, which I did actually drive with for a while, but didn't really particularly like. So what you got on this one is you've got your revs up both sides, and then the speedo digitally displayed only in the middle. You've still got your oil temperature on the right, and you've still got your fuel gauge on the left, and then everything else on the bottom as it was before. And then you can also set up the left and the right panels as to whatever you want in those panels. I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to try a little bit of comfort and see how we go with that one today on the way to work. Okay, so that's themes. Then we got the date and time. Press and hold that, and you can change each individual number. Press and hold, and you can change the numbers around to whatever year you want. And then press and hold to change to your next number, etc., etc. And once you've finished, press and hold, and it goes on to the next one. So that's the month. So it's the 25th of the 4th. Now, I wondered if you can change that around. No, you can't. I was just wondering if you can change it around to day, day, month, month. But it's not. It's set up as month, month, day, day. Not an issue, really. As the date doesn't tend to appear on the screen anyway. And then the time, which is currently 8:12 in the morning. The next one, press and hold, and that saves it. You didn't see any difference there because, of course, it's already set up to that in the first place. Oh, let me get this camera a little bit higher up. Here we go. Right, so press return, press and hold, and it goes back to that one. So next one is language, press and hold. That's the various languages that are available on this screen. So what do we got? Let's have a quick look. The ones I know of, obviously. English, I would say simplified Chinese at a guess. I'll take a total guess. Is that Russian? Maybe. Sorry, don't know that one. Spanish, German, Turkish. I'll go with Korean at a guess. Pure guess. French, Italian, and that's it. So press and hold to return. Okay, general setup. Press and hold. So this is the daytime brightness. So this is, obviously, I'm in daytime currently because my lights aren't on, so that's 100%. I mean, you can change it to whatever you want to. Let's have a quick look. So that's, believe it or not, that is, what are we on? That is 10%. 20%. Oops. 30. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. I prefer that on 100 during the daytime. It shows up nicely and doesn't seem to be affected by the sunlight. Nighttime, I did have it. It was originally set from factory at 10%. Now I found that to be a little bit dark. I've put it up to 40. I haven't really driven too dark outside, so 40 seems okay in the darkness I have driven so far. So again, it is personal preference, and you can change it accordingly. Next one, colour. I'm not 100% sure this actually refers to. You've got red, black, white, blue, gem blue, and space grey. I'm assuming that is for when you've got the car image up on the screen, and that you can choose the different colours of the car. I haven't actually got the car screen. I haven't actually got that car image up on the screen yet, and it's not even a Z4 anyway, so I'm not really interested in having it on the screen. But that would be the one. Okay, so driving mode. You get different colours on the display here. What we got? So that's just changed it. No, I actually changed the purple then straight back to orange. So here you go. It's got purple there. Sport plus mode. You can have these on all the time, you see. So this is sort of a reason behind this one. Whatever you want to change it to. Not really seeing it as a massive feature myself, but you know, it can be. Speed warning on off. Now this is in association with that next one. So I've got this switched. I accidentally switched this on at 30 miles an hour. I don't mean I was driving at 30 miles an hour. I mean, I had it set up for 30 miles an hour. So every time you went over 30 miles an hour, a bong went off on the dash. Now, Yeah, you probably really don't want that. So, but you can set it up for whatever you want. So all you do is press and hold, and it's switched on. Then you go to your next one, and you set up the mileage that it's at. Now I've set it at 101.844 miles per hour because I don't particularly want it going off. But that can be altered. You just press and hold, and it just changes the mileage. What we got, it's going up. I don't know. I can't remember now how high up it goes, but it does. I think it can go around. It's around about 30 mile an hour. I think it's the lowest one. So either way, I'll have that switched off because I don't particularly want it on. But it could be a useful feature, I suppose. Oops. There we go. Right, so press and hold. Right, now we're into the factory modes. Now there are two that I'm currently aware of. There are two factory modes. If there are any more, I'll add them in at a later date. But anyway, so we press and hold, and we come up with a code. Right, so I'd say these are the two codes I know. The first one is 0, press and hold. 1, so press once, then press and hold. 6, press, 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 and then press and hold. And 8. Get to the 8, press and hold, highlights the OK button, and then press. And it takes you into this one. Now this is your tank setting. Okay, so we're going to pause a moment. When I first set my screen up, one step above the main tank setting here was a chance to change the odometer reading, your mileage reading. Now, since I've set it up, it's no longer available. So I'm assuming this is now set up. It's set up to the CAS module, and it's reading the correct mileage, because it doesn't always necessarily read exactly the correct mileage. It might be slightly out. This is why you had to take the reading at the beginning before you disconnected the old cluster. So to change it, you just go up one more stage, and it goes through exactly the same procedure. Press and hold, press and hold, press and hold, etc. And then OK at the end. And that will then change the mileage to the correct reading. So it's just exactly the same as all the other settings, and then you can move back onto the main tank. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it because I now can't access it anymore, and obviously I don't have video because I did this lot of setting to show you how to do it once I'd already done my own settings. So that's how we do it. We'll now carry on with the rest of the video. Now, this is to set up your fuel tank size. Now, I am reliably informed, and I will correct this on the screen if I'm wrong, because I'm going to check up again today. Now, all you do is you simply press, and it's the same system as everything else. To change it, you press the numbers until you get to the desired location, and then press and hold, and it moves on. And when you get to the last one, once it's set up, press and hold, and it jumps to the next one. I'll say we've got 0 on the sub tank, and then you do is press and hold, and it tells you it's set up. Okay, so this next one then is a vehicle type. Sorry, let me just adjust that slightly. Right, next one then is vehicle type, and this is where you change the vehicle view. This is the image of the particular vehicle when it's on the screen. Oops. So you can press and hold every time. So it's X5, X6, and an F10. And that's it. That's all you got. I've not had it set because I don't particularly want to see a vehicle that's not mine. Next one down, Model E, and the other option is Model F. And if you notice, the fuel gauge and the oil temp, they change positions. There you go. So one's with them in, one's with them out. Hybrid, well, we're not a hybrid, so that's off. Oil scale, now with the oil scale, that puts an oil scale at the bottom. I didn't initially have that on. It works in the same way as the one on iDrive works, which is basically the car has to be running and stationary for it to change. The rest of the time, it doesn't alter. So I've decided that I ended up having it switched off in the end because it was a superfluous gauge for when you're driving. And that's advanced settings on that one. So we're going to go back into that. And once you go back into it, it comes up with the same code. So what you want to do now to change it to the next number is just press and hold, and then you've got to go back through the sequence again. So the next number is 0, 1, 6, 9. Right, so this gives you a bit more information. Let's just make sure that is the top one. Ah, no, there is. Right, front tyre exchange. Not really sure what that is supposed to be. You got yes and not. That's it. Yes and not. So I'm not really sure what front tyre exchange is. I must ask, and if I come up with that answer, I shall put that on the screen now. Right, so next one, door info. So this would display your doors open information on the car display, on the image display. Okay, next one then is cruise control. Disabled or enabled. That's it basically. I've got cruise control, so I've got it enabled. Your next one is tyre pressure. Now this is where I was on about the FTM and TPMS. As I have FTM, so I've got tyre pressure disabled, doesn't need to be on the screen. It's simply, again, disabled or enabled. Angle sensor, that didn't really seem to do anything when it was on the screen, so I didn't bother with it. I might actually just put that back on. I'm going to test something later on while I'm driving to see if it actually does come up then. Torque split, I'm assuming that may be to do with the hybrid. But obviously if these aren't hybrids, that's no point. Setup, enable, startup enabled. I believe a startup it does the display at the start of the screen. Other than that, I can't see what else it will do. Reset enabled, that's so you can reset various parts of the screen. Refuel, the same again. That just shows up when it's refueling points, and your various settings. We showed it earlier on, where it was the your distances and stuff from refueling. Intelligent, again, that was also RFIs probably don't really apply to most of what people will drive anyway. Metric unit right now, so this is your miles or kilometers. So I've currently got mine set in imperial because I like stuff in miles. We'll change it to metric. There you go. You see the differences on the screen. Change it back. So your speedo is obviously in kilometers per hour or miles per hour, and then your odometer, etc. also changes. So that's okay. Clock enabled, so that puts the clock at the bottom of the screen next to the amount of miles you've got left on the fuel gauge. 24-hour format, that's self-explanatory. Outdoor temperature, yeah, again, that's on the bottom right of the screen next to the oil temperature. Temperature units in centigrade or Fahrenheit. Doors info enabled, so again that's whether you have the door open information. Fuel tank position, now where you've got the fuel gauge and you've got your down, where are we? Just there, you've got a little arrow pointing to the right currently. Change it to the left, it points to the left. That purely just indicates which side your tank's on, if you didn't know. Reversing side up sound, I'm not sure whether this is a reversing sound that comes out of, in fact I'll tell you what, I'm going to enable that and see what happens in a few moments. Vehicle setup enabled, and return. So that's that setting for that one. Version, press and hold, that just shows you what this version of the software etc. is. Well, I'm currently on version 2 on this particular software. Upgrade. Now this right, so we've got two codes for this one. Upgrade. We've got 2 codes on here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Now this is in case your cruise control doesn't display. Now the cruise control should display just about there when it's active. I'll put a picture up now. That's what it looks like. But if it doesn't show up, then you can set it up accordingly. Now if you scroll all the way down here, there's all the various models and the protocols for cruise control. We've got the E90s, you want to pass all these, X5s, X6 and Z4. Now you keep going past there, there's no more Z4s, there's only one Z4 and that's that one there. So if your cruise control does not display, and that is when you're driving above 20 miles an hour, it will not display prior to that. So obviously don't think, oh, it's not displaying, and do it anyway. So if you're driving along 20 miles an hour and you press cruise and it doesn't display, and you want to go into this setting, set that one. And then I believe, well, actually, I'll put it on the screen. Let's have a look. So set that one. Right. Press and hold. And that comes up on the screen. Select car type Z4 280. And that will then go off eventually. I don't believe there's a return on this one. Or is there? I can't remember now. Oh yes, there is a return. So scroll all the way back down again. And press and hold to return. Okay, and the other code for this one is if you've got an automatic, it will automatically come with the P in the middle of the screen. I'll show you a quick picture or a couple of pictures now. So that's what it looks like. Now, of course, if you've got an automatic, that's fine. That's whatever position the auto lever is in. If you've got a manual, then obviously you don't need this. So you'll go back into this upgrade one again. No, if the number's there or not, it doesn't matter. And it is 0, 1, 8, 1. Now what that does is that takes the automatic gearbox setting off and puts it into manual, which is what I've got on mine now. In fact, you'll notice there, what I've just done there, because I've done that again, it's actually put the P next to the temperature on the lower right hand side. So we'll go back and do that again. I'll just show you, you watch that P down the bottom there. So we've still got 0181 in there. Oh, no. Hang on. So 0, 1, 8, 1, and press, and the P goes off. So if you've got a manual, that will get rid of the letter P. Okay, that is the last of the settings. Oh, I like my real-time info in there. So there we go. So that's off that. So it's let me just. So we go back into settings again a minute. So we go back to theme. So we go to, which one is it? Sport. So there. So where we've got, obviously on the picture, so now we've not got the P below the 0 miles per hour. And I could put, I guess I put this picture back up again. So that's what happens when you got the auto boxing with the P. And then without, it looks something like that. So I'm going to go, oops. Put it back on comfort because I want to give this one a try today while I'm driving. I'll get back out of all that. And there we go. So there you go, you're all set up. So enjoy.